If you're looking for a better way to protect the front end and get some extra function in the meantime, this officially licensed Trailforce HD front bumper with the LED lights and the Jeep logo will be a great pick for your 2020 or newer JT Gladiator. Now this bumper will be a good pick for the JT owner who is looking for off-road styling but also needs additional utility and lighting for the front end, whether they're off-roading on a regular basis or just street driving day to day. Now, not to mention being officially licensed by Jeep means that this is backed with OE style quality if you're looking for a front bumper that not only will give you those features that you want, but also the reliability that you need. This front bumper will have multiple noteworthy features, including good mid-width protection and grille protection with the integrated bull bar up top here. Now, recovery is also prioritized with 2 welded D-ring mounts and included D-rings capable of a 9,500 pound pulling capacity for those sticky situations when you are off-road. You can also be the one to pull your buddy out thanks to the winch plate up top that's compatible with all winches with up to a 12,000 pound pulling capacity that have a standard bolt pattern. Now, last but not least, this is going to include 2 circular LED fog lights on the outer portion of the bumper and 2 smaller LED bars in the middle, which will be sure to light up the road or trail in front of you a lot brighter than the factory fogs. Now, if that's not enough, the bumper will also have light mounting tabs right up on top of this bull bar here for additional lighting so you can further customize your setup to your personal preference. Now this will be made of a heavy-duty 5/32 inch steel plate construction with a 2 by 0.12 inch tubing, offering a robust build, and will have the Jeep logo embossed right down at the front for that added touch of style. This will also have a premium 2-stage black powder coat finish on top, which uses an epoxy pre-coating and high-grade texture black powder coat for optimal protection to the steel underneath. Not to mention, this will also be completely bolt-on, so you don't have to worry about modifying your JT, and it's going to come with all of the pre-wired plugs to make install very straightforward. Now this will come in at roughly $625, and I think you're definitely getting your money's worth at this price point considering all the options that are included, including recovery here, the light mounting options, and the protection as well as the style. And the embossed Jeep logo is also something that you don't see very often, and that's going to add that little touch of style and reassurance that you're working with a quality setup. Now, install is going to be very straightforward for a front bumper at a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you about 2 hours to get the job done with some pretty basic hand tools. Now, at this point, we can head over to the shop and check out a detailed breakdown of the install process and what it looks like step by step. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and get into it.
The tools you're going to need for this install include an electric ratchet or regular ratchet, 3/8 extension, an 18, 13, 10, 8, and 7 millimeter sockets, some zip ties, a clip removal tool, a small screwdriver, and your included 4mm Allen key. What's up guys? Today we're going to be installing a bumper on our Gladiator, but before we get started, you're going to watch a short video on how to uninstall your stock bumper, and I'll meet you back here for the install.
So our first step to uninstalling our factory bumper is to remove our splash guard. It's held in by 8 push clips and 2 8mm bolts. So we'll grab an 8mm socket for our bolts and a clip remover tool for our clips. So our first step is to remove these 2 8mm bolts. And now we can remove our push clips. Now coming back up top, right in between our bumper and our grille, we have 2 more push clips that we have to remove. So once again, I'll grab that clip remover tool and pop these out. Next, we can come behind the bumper on the passenger side. We have to disconnect our connector for our fog lights. So we'll press in back here and disconnect our harness. So now staying on the passenger side, right by where we disconnected our fog light harness, we can remove this 16mm bolt as well as these 2 18mm nuts. Now for the top nut, we're going to leave that threaded on a few threads just to hold everything in place while we work on the other side. So we'll take that 16mm socket to remove our first bolt. And then we'll grab our 18mm socket to remove our 2 nuts. And then once again, up top, we're gonna leave it on a few threads just to hold everything in place. Now coming to the inside of our passenger frame rail, we have the same setup with a 16mm bolt and 2 18mm nuts. So once again, we'll grab that 16mm socket for the bolt. And then we'll swap out to our 18mm socket for our nuts. And on the inside of our frame rail, we can fully remove both of our nuts since we have that one supporting the weight on the other side. And then we can slide our bracket out of the way. And once we're done with the passenger side, we can repeat those same steps on the driver's side. So now we can go ahead and remove our 2 nuts that we have left supporting the bumper and fully remove it.
So now we have to transfer over our fog light harness from our old bumper to our new bumper. So now we're going to remove these 6 7mm bolts using our 7mm socket. Now we're going to take our 13mm socket and remove these 2. And now you can repeat that process on the other side. So now that you got that cover removed, we're going to unclip our fog lights. And we're going to pull up on this metal bracket and it should remove. Set that off to the side. Now we can take our clip tool and pry up on all these clips. So now that you got your harness removed, we're going to transfer that over to our new bumper. So now we're going to be attaching our brackets to our fog lights. There is a threaded in hole here that we're going to slide our bracket over. I'm going to grab our Phillips head screw. And using our Phillips head screwdriver, we're going to tighten them in. So now that you have your brackets in place, we're going to slide our cable through, line up the holes, take our outer piece, line them up, put your hex bolts through, Then we can thread in our nuts that are included. Just going to repeat that process for the rest of them. Now we're going to tighten that down with our included 4mm Allen and our 10mm socket. Now moving on to our light bars, we're going to be attaching these brackets with the mounting points facing away from the light bar. Same thing with our Phillips head screws. Going to mount where it's threaded here into our bracket in the middle. Now for the other side, same thing.
Don't cover too much.
Okay. So now that you have your brackets on, you're going to slide your bar through the opening. Take your front plate, insert your hex bolts, along with your included 10mm bolts. Now we can tighten that down using our 4mm Allen and our 10mm socket. Now you can repeat that process on the other side. So now that you have all your lights in, we're going to be installing our factory wiring harness to our new wires. It's important to know that this kit includes 2 types of adapters. You're going to be using the squared adapter, not the cylinder one. So we're going to take our black wire to our black wire on the relay, red to red, and then these 2 connectors going into your pods, and your adapter to your fog light. And we'll come up here. Again, same sequence. Black to black, red to red. Your adapter to your OEM fog light, and then connector, and connector. So before we throw this on the vehicle, we're going to have to install our stud and nut plate. We're going to slide it through here, nut on the top, and bolt through the bottom. Same for the other side. Now you can do that on the other side before we throw it on. So now that we got our stud plates in place, we're gonna line up the plates with our factory locations. We're just gonna slide the studs in through the top. Now that you have your stud through the mounting point, you're going to take your washer, block washer, and nut to fasten that down. Then for the bottom, it'll be our bolt, lock washer, washer. And we can insert our bolt. Then we'll take our 18mm socket and tighten that down. And you can repeat that on the other side of the plate and for the other side. So now that your bumper is on the vehicle, we're going to be connecting our fog light harness to our connector. We can push it back into our spot, and then we'll be able to tuck our wires. Now you can wire these up any way you'd like, but for demonstration purposes, we're just going to be tucking them up using zip ties, which are not included in the kit. An important note is that when you're running your wires, you want to make sure that there's nothing hot or moving in the way so you don't damage your wires. So for our last step, we're going to be installing our D-rings. We're going to slide these up, insert your bolt through, tighten them up. Now your install is complete. So that's gonna wrap up the install on our officially licensed Jeep Trailforce HD front bumper with LED lights and Jeep logo for your 2020 and newer Jeep Gladiator JT. Thanks for watching, and for all things Gladiator, keep it here at extremeterrain.com.